Unity of Boulder. Everyone who's joining us here in person and everyone who's joining us online, thank you for joining us. Is there anyone here who's here for the first time at Unity of Boulder? Oh, I see a few hands down here. Keep your hands up, and our ushers are going to come down and give you a welcoming gift. Gives you a whole bunch of information about what Unity of Boulder is and is not. It's definitely a good read. I got a few announcements of upcoming events here at Unity of Boulder. We have a concert, a benefit concert coming up on April 4th. This will be the second year we've done this. It's called the Peace Through Music Concert. And this is a benefit concert that it's raising funds for some very local organizations that are doing some amazing things in and around Boulder. One of those organizations is called Boulder Muse. And what they do is they help get instruments of all types and sizes and expenses into the hands of people and children who are not financially able to get them, and they teach them to play them. It's an absolutely beautiful program, and this concert is also going to be benefiting a group called Streetscape Boulder, and I love this group. What this group is about, it's not just about moving homeless people from this situation to this situation. It's about trying to get them actually on their feet and out of the hole that is so hard to dig themselves out of. So it is an absolutely fun concert with all different types of music. There's a choir, there's a DJ, there's a rapper. It is absolutely just a fun concert. That is April 4th. It's at 7 p.m. It's $20 or $10 for if you're under 15, or $30 at the door and $15 at the door on the day of. But I highly recommend it. It is an absolutely great time. At intermission, we have snacks and wine, so it's just fun. So come on out to that. We also have a 5-week workshop coming up called Secrets to a Successful Life, and that is going to be led by a longtime friend of Unity of Boulders and a super solid spiritual life coach, Zoylita Grant. And that starts April 9th. That's a Tuesday, and it goes for 5 Tuesdays, and that's at 6 at night to 7:30. The whole 5-week class is $100. I recommend it. I have personally watched Zoylita change people's lives many, many times over the years that I have known her. Some of you may have noticed in our lobby, we have this odd glass jar out there that we are connecting the tabs off soda cans. We're asking everyone to do this. If you could save your tabs off your soda cans, your beer cans, off anything that has a tab on it, we're collecting those for a lot of local hospitals. They use them to fund all sorts of programs in their children's departments. And people ask, well, why are you just collecting the tabs and not the whole can? Well, those tabs they are so much thicker than the actual cans. They hold so much more aluminum than most of the can itself. So it's a very easy way to contribute. Just save them throughout the week, bring them in, throw them in the glass jar out there, and we've got people who will distribute them to the local hospitals around here. That's something that our YOU, our high school age students, started here, and we'd like to continue it. And let's see what else. Today the speaker normally would be Santisha, but today it's going to be Jack Groverland will be speaking today at this service. But Santisha will be back next week to finalize her 4-week talk. She's working on a few big projects right now that are all going really good, but she just could not make it today. She's not ill. She is fine, but she will be back next week to finish her talk series. All right, thank you.
I'd like you to sing this with me. You hear it every single week, and you just sing and get that feeling of what it's all about. You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me, and I more time. Here we go. You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me, and I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for you, so grateful for you. Okay, I would like you to stand on this number. Let's stand. This is such, the words are so apropos for the times. So, okay. This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for lands afar and mine. This is my home, the country where my heart is. This is my hope, my dream, my shrine, and other lands. Okay, where's the next words? Okay, but other hearts in other lands are beating with hopes and dreams the same as mine. My country's skies are bluer than the ocean, and sunlight beams on clover leaf and pine. But other lands have sunlight too, and clover, and skies are blue, the same as mine. Oh, hear my song, thou God of all the nations. All together now. A song of peace for their land and mine. Big amen. Amen. I hope the whole world heard that, don't you? Thank you. And while you're standing, let's say thank you, God, for this beautiful day. And turn and meet one another. Say thank you, God, for you. And meet somebody new. Don't just stick with your friends. Take your time. It's great. Now pat yourself on the back and say thank you, God, for me. Have a good day.
And now I'd like to welcome out today's special musical guest, Bridget Wald, who we've had here a few times, and we're happy to have her back. And for this first song, she's going to be accompanied by our guitarist, Brandon Doris. So Bridget, take it away.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here. So I'm also appreciating this adorable dog in the front. Hi, little cute creature. So this first song that I'll be sharing with you all is an original. I wrote it in January, and what this song is about and what I invite you all into is it's about those sacred places of refuge. So they're different for all of us, but this song for me is capturing some of my sacred places of refuge, and its intention is really to be an offering of touching your heart and inviting you into what is that place or those places where you can feel your heart and you can feel your center, and there's a sense of peace no matter what's going on in your life. Don't need to hold up so high or hide those frozen places with a smile. Just cry, just cry. Don't need to sing the words unspoken. Just let your body rest. It's your time. It's your time. Collect your bones and gather souls. Let's shake the earth. 'Cause I know a place where we can be good company, where ocean's eyes gazing under me. 'Cause I know a place where sun dances on the wind. 'Cause I know a place where we can be more than friends. Collect your bones and gather souls. Let's shake the earth. 'Cause I know a place where we can be free finally. 'Cause I miss you and the way we felt the ocean breeze. 'Cause I know a place where the trees sing silently, where you kiss me and I forget to breathe. Collect your bones and gather souls. Let's shake the earth. Don't need to. Just don't need to. Just don't need to. Just be. 'Cause I know a place, you know. 'Cause I know a place, you know. 'Cause I know a place, you know. We know. Collect your bones and gather soul. Let's shake the earth. Thank you.
First, I have to let you know, I'm not Cintisha.
Thank you for being here.
Okay. And she's got things to do today that are very important on her list. She is very booked up and decided to take Sunday off and turn the pulpit over to me. And as it turned out, I started a bit of a series of talks at the 9 a.m. service last week on A Course in Miracles. And I gave myself some time this morning. I was going to prepare another talk that would be a little more in touch with the general scheme of spiritual transformation. But I missed the time change. So now you're going to get the insights into how A Course in Miracles came into manifestation. And two people that were instrumental in the Course coming into manifestation were Helen Schuckman and Bill Thedford. Both of them at the time worked for Columbia University's Presbyterian Hospital, where they trained psychologists and surgeons. And on the staff and among everyone that worked there, there was nothing but dissension. There was clashing and personality conflicts, and it just was practically unbearable for the two of them that were part of that department. And one day, Bill Thedford said to Helen, "We've got to find a better way." And while that isn't necessarily a prayer, it is a desire, which is what a prayer really is. It's a desire for something better to happen. And with that, she agreed. We've got to find a better way to carry on. Following that decision, Helen started to have dreams and mystical experiences and visions. And she had a number of visions that were historic in perspective, where she was watching a vision. She would see a vision, and then suddenly she'd be in that vision taking place. And many of her visions went back, were historic in perspective and ancient and beyond even that, in which she found herself, and she also found Bill Thedford, the guy she's working with, in some of them. And she could have easily had decided that these were past life experiences, visions that she was having, but she discounted that altogether, just would not even consider it, because of who she was and how she came to be who she was. She was a trained psychologist. Anyway, this goes on for months. And then she has this voice in her head start to speak to her, and it keeps saying to her, "This is A Course in Miracles. Please take notes." She's getting this thought, insight, whatever you want to call it. She calls it the voice, the silent voice, saying, "This is A Course in Miracles. Please take notes." And she's beginning to get panicked, because this is not who she is. And she's a trained psychologist, and she's a logically minded human being who is actually an avowed atheist. But she has this coming through, and so she calls Bill Thedford as this is happening, And she tells him that this voice is coming through and she can't shake it off. She can't stop it or get rid of it. And this is from the book, Journey Without Distance. This is what is taking place. Bill Thetford had said to her, well, look, many of the great poets had, their voice, their inspiration was like a voice that came through. So this is her now speaking to him on the phone about this voice that she doesn't want to be hearing. I'm not a mystical poet, she protested. I'm a psychologist, and I don't know whether I believe this or not. Well, Thetford says to her, since you can't make it go away, why don't you just take down what it's saying and bring it into the office early before the staff arrives, and we'll go over it together, and if it's gibberish, we'll just tear it up and no one will even know. Helen says, you promise, Bill, that's it, right? He says, yes, I promise. Helen hung up, went into the living room, and told Louis, her husband, she was going to do some work in her bedroom and would be out shortly. She closed the bedroom door, turned off the overhead light, and sat in a chair by a lamp where she allowed herself to listen. This is what she heard that first night. Can we have this PowerPoint up, please? This is a Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. Can we take this back again? Okay, as I'm sharing this with you, you should just try to put yourself in her shoes. Because this is something so far afield, so far from her understanding of what life means and how it carries on, that if you can sense, she was literally, concerned and actually feared what was coming through. This is it. This is a Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love. Move it. For that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. Well, Helen had great fear, and you can imagine why, because she was a scientifically, logically minded human being who had, early on in her life, as a young girl growing up, she had gone through some changes in the search to see if God was real. When she was young, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13 years old, she wanted to know if God was real. And after that, she continued her life, but came to the place where she realized that God is not real for her. So she becomes a psychologist, and she's a scientifically minded person who only believes what you can actually prove. And now this is taking place in her experience. And, if you place yourself in her position, she's a trained and, recognized doctor of psychology. For her to admit that a voice is coming through her and that she's actually taking notes about it, writing it down, would be, this is the kind of, she would help people that came to her and said they had a voice in their head coming through. So this was not something that she accepted for a long, long time. And so she goes through, gets through a certain place where she's writing down what's happening, and this is how it goes. This is also from Journey Without Distance. By the end of the first 10 days, Bill Thetford had typed 14 pages. Bill Thetford's her partner. He's a psychologist. She would come in early in the morning before the staff arrived. What she's doing is she's taking down what's coming through her in shorthand. She would then read it to Bill Thetford, and he would type it up. So by the end of the first 10 days, Bill had typed 14 pages. But when he met Helen the 11th morning, she had no material to read him. Since neither of them had any idea of what A Course in Miracles was or what length it would turn out to be, Bill wondered if the course were completed. So he has 14 pages, and he said, "Is this it?" Voice came through, "Is this it?" Let's see. But Helen says to him, no, that's not it. There's more to come. Bill's pragmatic response to this was that the only way she could know if that she was supposed to go on is to ask the voice. If it doesn't tell you, it obviously doesn't want you to continue. If it has nothing more to say, it has nothing more to say. This thought was hopeful enough for Helen so that she agreed to ask that evening. This was the answer she received. Can we have the next PowerPoint, please? The world situation is worsening to an alarming degree. People all over the world are being called on to help and are making their individual contributions as part of an overall prearranged plan. Part of the plan is taking down A Course in Miracles, and I am fulfilling my part in the agreement as you will fulfill yours. You will be using abilities you developed long ago and which you are not really ready to use again. Because of the acute emergency, however, the usual slow evolutionary process is being bypassed in what might best be described as a celestial speed-up. Can we take this back again, please? The world situation is worsening to an alarming degree. People all over the world are being called on to help and are making their individual contributions as part of an overall prearranged plan. Part of the plan is taking down A Course in Miracles, and I am fulfilling my part in the agreement as you will fulfill yours. You will be using abilities you developed long ago and which you are not really ready to use again. Because of the acute emergency, however, the usual slow evolutionary process is being bypassed in what best be described as a celestial speed-up. When you consider that this took place in 1965, and you look at the world today, you can see that obviously, actually it's beyond obvious, that the world is exponentially sinking into self-centered deception, hatred, vengeance, and insanity. That's just a reasonable evaluation of what is taking place in the world today. So, if ever there was an urgency to the idea of waking up to what is being prescribed here, we should take it seriously, very seriously. Because this is coming through someone who doesn't even want to be part of that, who doesn't believe in any of this, or didn't up until this particular time. So, can we continue to look outside ourselves, outside of the heart of mankind, for the cause of the growing disillusionment? Can we continue to do this? Look outside of ourselves for the causes of the tribulation, the disillusionment, and the insanity of humanity. Can we say, well, what's going on? Must be happening from somewhere out there. But A Course in Miracles is saying no. No, no, no. It is that time that the world has reached a critical place. And people must come to understand what the Course is saying. And what it is saying is that it is not coming to try to teach love, because that's not what can be taught. It is here to try to awaken people to remove the blocks to love, because those blocks to love came to you as you grew up. All the different concepts, ideas, and beliefs that you took on that created your personality are not the final answer to who you really are. And what it is saying is that your inheritance, your true nature, made in the image and likeness of God, is love. And that has been crusted over, forgotten, rejected, and left out of our relationships. And thus, the world in which we live, in which we are manifesting, is certifiably insane and headed for disaster. I didn't come here to share gloom and doom. I wasn't even going to do this talk at the second service, because I said, you know, you guys aren't really into the Course in Miracles, not as much as we are at the first service. But you may, and by the way, this idea of A Course in Miracles is not something, if you hear what is being shared, you know that Unity has been embracing this truth as well and trying to get it across to everybody who would be seeking to know what is true life. Is this true life? There are places in the Course in Miracles that asks you that question. Is this true to you? You feel this is right? This is you? This is what you want? This is what you came for? This is what God created? And we're asking that question this morning. And I'll tell you why Helen was so traumatized by that which was coming through her. When we do A Course in Miracles here, and we start A Course in Miracles, it's got the greatest title in the world. A Course in Miracles? People rush to take the Course in Miracles. I've led numbers of times the Course in Miracles. They rush in. You start with 100 people, 75 people. In 3 weeks, they rush out. Just as Helen was threatened by A Course in Miracles, because it threatens who you believe yourself to be, who you have lived as, kind of letting the idea of the mystical side of life, the side of life that calls us to a word that the Western culture has become most afraid of, calls us to a deep consideration of our divine nature, which requires good conscience. The word conscience. The other day, Norma said to me, you know, these people that are running for office, they should really have to take a test to see if they're smart enough. I said, not really. What they do need to take a test of is, do they have any relationship to conscience? And that was the decision. When you're making a decision, ask that question. Because they are supposed to be there representing the people. And what are they aligning their conscience, their own consciousness with? So this is, I'll tell you how difficult this actually is. It's interesting. I had a friend who I knew for quite a while in New York. And then he went away, finished his education, became a professor. He taught for about a year or something in California, and then he was coming back to New York City. He called me up and asked, you know, he was just going to hang out. I said, well, come on, stay with us. We have an apartment, Norma and I. We had Dell then, we had one son. And he shows up with two girls that are about 18 years old. And he explains to me that the reason he's back in he's heading for India, where he's going to hook up with a guru and become enlightened. He had already bought 80 acres of land in upstate New York, which he was going to create an enlightening commune up there. And the two girls that were with him were going to go live on that 80 acres while he was gone. And when he came back, they were going to create this whole thing. But he had to meet this guru that was going to enlighten him. And I was into the truth at that time, and I said, the only trustworthy guru in the end is the guru within you. That is the divine, essential self that we all ultimately have to tune into and listen to come into true life. And he said to me, these are exact words, I remember them, because they made me laugh. I don't like the idea of being used. Anyway, he went his way. I don't think he ever created his commune. Here is the essence of the first dialogue, the first things that were said to Helen Schucman. This is the essential idea of it. Can we have this? The Course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. What it is stating is that at the core of our being, we are expressions of and beings of love. And the Course is here to try to get us to remove the blocks to that. We are made in the image and likeness of love, and we can't change that. But whether or not we become expressions of that is a matter of whether or not we will go through a transformation in the way we define ourselves. Now, the initial state of life, the initial growing up in the world was physical, and that was necessary and it was natural. But at some point, we should have been awake in the living process to discover that the physical is missing something, that we don't feel it, we don't have it. We don't have the joy it speaks about. we don't have the love. And we don't certainly have the peace of mind that comes with God consciousness. And so we should be looking for something more. And now when we start looking, it is saying, you must look within. You must look within. You must attune your consciousness to the reality of your divinity. And that alone will not only save you, but it will save the world, because everything we think and do reflects in the collective consciousness of humanity. So can we have this back up here? Where did it go? Can we have that last PowerPoint back? All right. It does aim at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. So, it is implying to us that we are made in the image and likeness of the divine. We have to awaken to the idea that we are divine not only in origin, but we become divine in expression. That takes a spiritual practice, because we have become so inclined to the collection of beliefs that we have, supposing that each of us is an objective observer in a world of separate phenomena. The truth of that is not valid that way. You can't say that I'm an objective observer. You can't, because you're not. You see through a collection of beliefs, all that you grew up with, all that you gathered, all that you brought into who you define yourself to be. That is what filters everything that comes into your experience. And so what it's talking about is something that's very difficult. To be able to open up to the still small voice of God, sometimes called the Holy Spirit in the Bible, prompting one to begin to live from a higher level of awareness. So you see, the initial level of awareness created us to think in terms of personal self-interest. We're strictly a separate body in a world of separate phenomena. We have to watch out what we're doing, be careful. We have to learn how to get even with those that are trying to do something bad to us. We have to fix them, hurt them. And the whole world is set up in an eye for an eye awareness. And that is never going to bring about not only harmony, health, peace, love, truth, joy, honor, honor, honor. Will never bring honor into anyone's experience until one listens to the presence of the living God, who is the creator of all creation. And so, A Course in Miracles starts off to relate to us our calling. This is our yoga. Can we have this next PowerPoint, please? I have said that you cannot change your mind by changing your behavior. But I have also said, and many times, that you can change your mind. When your mood tells you that you have chosen wrongly, and this is so whenever you are not joyous, then know this need not be. In every case, you have thought wrongly about some brother or sister God created, and are perceiving images your ego makes in a darkened glass. Think honestly what you have thought that God would not have thought, and what you have not thought that God would have you think. Search sincerely for what you have done and left undone accordingly, and then change your mind to think with God's. This may seem hard to do, but it is much easier than trying to think against it. Your mind is one with God's. Denying this and thinking otherwise has held your ego together, but has literally split your mind. Can we have this back again, please? I have said, and you see that this consciousness, which is the Christ consciousness, is speaking as a direct being. I have said you cannot change your mind by changing your behavior. But I have also said, and many times, and he's speaking about down through the ages, the Christ consciousness, the divine awareness, has spoken over and over again and has come through some masters down through the ages, saying, I have also said many times that you can change your mind. When your mood tells you that you have chosen wrongly, and this is so whenever you are not joyous, then know this need not be. In every case, you have thought wrongly about some brother or sister God created, and are perceiving images your ego makes in a darkened glass. That darkened glass is a reference to a Bible quote given by Paul the Apostle, who said, we see through a glass darkly. The inference is that we see through a collection of beliefs that came from a limited perspective as we believed ourselves to be separate from one another. That is darkness in which we have allowed ourselves to decline in awareness. So think honestly what you have thought that God would not have you have thought, and what you have not thought that God would have you think. Is this conscience? Is this the word that is most feared in the Western culture? That I have to tune in when I'm making decisions and ask the question, what feels right? What feels true? Do I have to do that? Am I going to do what's right, what's true? Or does my self-interest now, once again, overrule my conscience, my presence, and my relationship to reality? So, I'm going to conclude this because I'm talking about the insanity of the world, and I saw an amazing film last night. It's 30 years old, called Awakenings. Maybe you've seen it. It stars Robin Williams and Robert De Niro. And it's all about this hospital that has these chronically ill people who many of them are in a catatonic state. They're paralyzed, they're in comas, and they simply exist as a body. There's no communication, there's nothing. And so this new doctor comes to this hospital, and he's mostly a research doctor. He doesn't deal with patients usually, but he winds up in the situation where he's working with these people that are just so mentally disturbed that they are vegetables. And those people, many of them have been there for years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and the doctors that have worked with those people just keep writing in the records that they have about them. They keep writing the same thing. And what they're really writing is that their light has gone out and they're not here. There's nothing about them that's here anymore. It's gone. Well, he doesn't believe that. And he's doing research with these catatonic, paralyzed people that are designated not here. And he ultimately discovers that they do respond sometimes to a human touch, Then he figures out sometimes it's a kind of a response to music. They're just, Then he figures out there's this and there's that. He comes up with a way through a drug that he uses with them to bring them back. This is a true story. These people were gone for decades, some of them. And they came back. And not only that, they had memories of everything that they were before this particular disease took over. And they're not quite sure what the disease is. They only know that for many of them, they had encephalitis. And it was after that they had that, it was years after that these particular symptoms came through and took them away into these terrible places of being non-communicative whatsoever. It's an amazing, amazing film. The acting is amazing. And this doctor brings them back. And they have their memories and everything. And they're going to do new things. And they're all going to understand life. And they're reading. And they're talking. And they're carrying on. A true story, 1969, this took place. And the one guy that led it all off, one of the patients that led it off, the movie is so beautiful, it's heart-rending. He's free now, he's able to walk around the hospital, do what he wants. He actually meets a girl there that's visiting her father, who's in a catatonic state. And he meets her and he talks and has conversation with her. She doesn't know that he's a patient. But at some point, he says to the doctor, I want to just be able to walk, go outside and walk by myself. And they take it to the board of directors at the hospital and say, no, he can't. He can go for a walk, but somebody has to be with him. But I just want to be able to walk outside by myself. I'm fine, I'm good, I know I can do this. You can imagine how he felt, because this is a statement of freedom now. Can I just walk by myself? Let me know that I am free. For 30 years, this particular guy was gone. And of course they say no, because we're still, you're on a drug and we don't know what the response will be. And we can't afford it. Our insurance doesn't cover anything that would happen outside the hospital. And, but as it turns out, all of that which was gained begins to be lost by the patients. They begin to go back into their state of illness. Slowly, but surely they have these tics, they can't walk, then they can't speak, and then they are wrapped up, and then they're laying in bed or in a wheelchair. And at the end of the film, the doctor, played by Robin Williams, makes a comment. I think it was probably a comment that was made in the book. It was first a book, became a movie. And Robin Williams says, this is a voiceover, what have we human beings lost? The simple joys of life. Just to work and play, have family, have friends. These are the things we have forgotten. Course in Miracles is talking about love. We have to come into the guiding inspiration, the prompting of something that doesn't go on so regularly in the outer-directed, self-centered world, but something we are called on now to reenact, to bring forth. And here, the way he's saying this, is what we have forgotten, what we have left behind. He's speaking to us because we are the comatose people. We're living in a false reality. And he says, the simple joys of life, just work, play, family, friends, these are the things we have forgotten. These are the things we have lost. These are the things we have given up. For what? And at the conclusion of the movie, it's really beautiful the way they do it, because all through the movie, this doctor is so committed over a long period of time. He even sleeps at the hospital, works with the patient, does these experiments, goes on and on and on. And every now and then, one of the nurses there invites him to go for coffee after her shift is over, and he just refuses. He's going to continue. He's only working, working, working. And at the end of the film, after he makes this statement, he calls to her. She's already left. Her shift is over. He calls out the window to her. Do you want to go for coffee? You ought to see this movie again. It's just too beautiful. There are scenes in this movie that will break you. I'm going to do a 2-minute meditation. Take a couple of deep breaths. Just gently bring yourself into a quiet understanding. As we bring to mind this true mantra, God is love. Love is life. I am God's life. I am. God is love. Love is life. I am God's life. I am. I am. Breathing in the I, breathing out the am. God is love. Love is true life. I am God's true life. I am. I am. I am. As we go forth from this meditation, let's go forth with a greater determination to be awake in the process of living. For this opportunity in every moment, let us give thanks. And to this, we say, Amen. We'll take an offering for unity now. I want to remind you right off that we will not be going on with a Course in Miracles study at the 9 a.m. service next week. Same old, same old. What you'll be getting here with Santisha next week will be the insight into true life. What does it mean to be living true life? She's an amazing aspirant of that because she lives that so totally. Anyway, For those of you that are watching this on screen, I invite you to show up every now and then physically here and share in that inspiration and feeling that we have here. There's a lot more to it than what you can get on the screen. And do tithe as well to Unity of Boulder. Everyone here can bring into their hands that gift they'd like to make to Unity, and we can bless it with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is. And we have the opportunity to listen to our musicians once again. Get this out.
So this is a song that you all will recognize. So the invitation here is to connect with whatever it is that helps you feel faith. Especially, again, if circumstances might not feel like they're going your way. This song is really inviting you into your center and what helps you believe in the present moment and in whatever's coming. When the road gets dark, you can no longer see. Just let my love throw a spark. Have a little faith in me. Feel free to sing. When the tears you cry are all you can believe, just give these loving arms a try. Have a little faith in me. Have a little faith in me. Come on, everybody. Have a little faith in me. Have a little faith in me. Have a little faith in me. When your secret heart cannot speak so easily, come here, darling, for a whisper start. Have a little faith in me. When your back's against the wall, just turn around and you will see. I'll be there, I will catch your fall. So have a little faith in me. Have a little faith in me. Sing with me. Have a little faith in me. Have a little faith in me. Have a little faith in me. 'Cause I've been loving you such a long time, God, expecting nothing in return, just for you to have a little faith in me. You see, time is our friend, and for us there is no end, 'cause all you gotta do is have a little faith in me. I will hold you up. I will hold you up. Have a little faith in me. I will
that the name of that film is Awakenings. And we have people here that if you have a particular challenge you want to pray with someone about, just remain seated when everyone else clears out. And one of our prayer partners who is wearing the white scarf you see will come to you and pray in place. If you wish, or you can go downstairs to our beautiful meditation room and pray together. So that's available to us. Again, Sintisha will be back in the pulpit next week, and you probably want to hear what she's got to say, because she has an amazing thing that she's gone through for you to share with her. All right, shall we?
Make a circle around these inner
We're going to circle the room again around these side aisles. And we're going to sing Let There Be Peace on Earth with our hearts wide open and visualizing everyone in the Russian-Ukraine situation, everyone in the Palestinian-Israeli situation, everyone in the Middle East. Just let's sing this from the heart. Let's get everybody in place here.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow to take and live in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
So it is. So it is.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release in the Spirit and my heart. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle.